The reason that I had a problem with Turnkey was because, again, in my role in kind of financial advice adjacent, I had a client buy a house from rich uncles. Like it's probably the second biggest one of these turnkey providers. And they sold him a house that was $53,000 in Detroit. And he came to me and he's like, hey, I'm going to buy this rental property. I'm really excited to do this turnkey. I had already done a lot of research on the model. And he said it's $53,000 in Detroit, showed me the address. And I was like, have you already bought that? Is this like done? Because I was going to wave him off because all the numbers were insane. Um, and he's like, yeah, I already own it. And I'm like, how much do they think it'll rent for a month? And they're like, $900, right? Like the 1% rule says a $53,000 house should rent for 530. If you could rent it for $900, you get like to get inducted straight into the Real Estate Hall of Fame. I'm like, whoa! But even you're sitting here, and as soon as I said Detroit 2016, your face was like, oh no, because you and I both know as operators, that's the wrong place in the wrong time, and that's too cheap. Um, and so I got to experience that property with him because I was working on some of his other assets, and I kept asking him like, how's it going? He had to evict the property 4 times in 2 years. He had to get 2 different property managers, and then luckily, each eviction cost him like $4,600 to $6,000 an eviction off a $53,000 property. So like a 10% capital outlay 4 times in 2 years. Like this was a retirement asset, and it just turned into him like living in Detroit half the time. And then luckily it burned to the ground. They paid him $88,000, and I asked him, "Hey, are you going to buy another house or are you going to rebuild?" And he's like, "No, no, 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 no,
No, no, no. I learned my lesson. I'm not going back to Detroit. I'm not doing that. Yeah, it's unfortunately for most people in that situation, their house doesn't burn down. They don't get insurance money, and it's just a slow bleed out, honestly, and then, until they end up selling it at a loss.